Welcome back, guys, to the Buffalo Bridal Podcast. Today, we're switching it up a little bit. Today, we're going to talk about trends. So, just to remind everybody, I'm Heather from Upstate Indie Weddings. We have Molly from the Planning Touch. And we have a special guest. We have Beth from the Bridal Chateau. So, since we're going to talk about trends, we really wanted to start with one of our favorite trends, which is wedding dress trends. And so, who better to talk about trends with than the owner of Bridal Chateau, Beth?
Yeah. All right, so let's just dive right into the deep end of it. What are some of the wedding dress trends that we're seeing for 2025? I know, like you said before, the bows. I know that was last year. I remember this one girl, one of my brides had a bow right like on her lower back, and her whole dress was like, not on her back. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. So I know I saw bows last year.
Well, the bows are getting bigger.
Yep.
They're huge now. It really, maximalists or minimalists, and we're going over the top with the maximalists. The Bosque waists have really been trending heavily, and they can go anywhere from just like a slight little V to very dramatic, which is good because sometimes, if you are a little bit more on the petite side, the dramatic is just, it's too much. It cuts you in half. Right? So they can still get in the trend with like the more minimalized ones. But then we have the ones that almost like, they don't even stop. It's just, it goes into a princess theme and they go to the floor. And it's very couture. It's kind of feeling Renaissance, and I'm here for it. So I'm on team maximalist.
Yeah.
But again, the maximalist can be in a plainer satin or it can be in like all lace. Glitter is still very on trend with a lot of things. They're layering it into the dresses just to add a little bit of depth and dimension. Layering laces, so you'll have like a sheet lace underneath with laces on top, just so that it really gives some depth to the gowns.
I love that. I watched, I didn't watch, I lied, I didn't watch. I saw the snippets from the Oscars, and there was so much going on there that every time I saw someone walk down the red carpet, I was like, ooh, that would be a beautiful wedding dress.
Kim Kardashian, she wore a white dress.
Was amazing.
White. I mean, honestly, Cynthia Erivo, when she came out to do that performance in that beautiful white satin dress that was so
had like
perfectly
the little color
fitted,
in the tulle and the flowers.
With the flowers.
So,
I mean, I just kept thinking of some of the beautiful floral dresses you have here, and like that is the maximalist to the maximum version of it, but how beautiful to walk down the aisle in something like that.
All the award shows this season, I feel, though, have really been like, that's bridal. I've got something just like that. And it's nice to know that we're very on trend with everything. Yeah. Sometimes Buffalo can be a little behind, but especially after this red carpet season, I'm like, oh yeah, we are on it.
I love it.
Yeah. Let's talk about how some designers are incorporating some sustainability in wedding dress design because, with just trends in general, the sustainability is like a big trend alone. So let's talk about that with, bridal gowns.
Absolutely. One of our biggest designers that really hits home with that is Maggie Sotero Designs. And so we have a couple different friends. We've partnered with them where every single dress that we sell, a tree is planted for our bride.
Oh, cool.
So it's a really cool initiative. We've been doing it with One Tree Planted, and it started with, there was this mountain range to water ridge that was in Costa Rica, and it had been overforested, and it really, a lot of animals with their migration patterns and natural plants that were there were being devastated. So through our efforts, we got that checked off our list. We got a lot of trees planted there, and it's now sustainable. So we've moved the initiative to Australia, where we're kind of redoing some of the areas that were hit with the forest fires. Those koalas need their trees back, so they're so adorable. And then after that, we'll be bringing the efforts home to the United States to help with devastation here. But for every Maggie dress you buy, a tree is planted in your honor. And they've also been doing a lot with their fabrics. So we have fabrics that are maybe yarn dyed. So you can put the fabric together and then dye it, or you can dye just the yarn and then weave it together. And if you do it ahead of time, if you do it after, it's easier. Sorry. But it costs more energy, more water. So to be more sustainable doing it in the yarn process, you save almost like 50% of the water and energy savings.
Oh, wow.
Also using a lot of recycled materials. So a lot of our dresses, the liners are made out of 100% recycled polyester. A lot of the overlays too are made of, it has to be at least 50% or higher to be considered a recycled material. But a lot of our dresses, a lot of our accessories are made with that process.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
That's really, really fun.
That's so cool. So let like some vintage and some historical influence that are kind of making a comeback.
Yeah.
You know, like I know a lot of just wedding traditions have kind of, you know, like throwing the bouquet and the garter toss, unheard of lately, like with weddings. So like, what are some of like, you know, those kind of things that are making a comeback?
I feel like people are changing things. Like the garter toss, they're not throwing them anymore, but a lot of our brides, like we do Buffalo Bills garters.
Yeah.
And a lot of our brides are still buying them, and then they end up just taking like that and maybe a bud from their bouquet and their invitation and making like a shadow box out of it. So they're still kind of doing it, but it's more meant to be just like, oh, you know, my husband or bride-to-be really likes this team. And I actually had to make one of our brides said that her soon-to-be wife was a...
Oh God! Don't say like a competing.
I can't.
I
I can't even say their name.
Don't say.
I'm not saying their name.
No, it's fine.
But she was their fan, so I made a bill starter for our bride, and then for her fiance, I made their team.
We're not gonna say the team.
That shall not be named.
We're not doing it. I'm not doing it. But
thank you for not saying it, because I have like the worst envision in my head, and if it's from our own division, I'm really going to be upset. But let's just keep moving on. It was nice of you to do that.
Yes.
It's very nice of you to do that.
So we've definitely seen those trends. We're still seeing girls doing the blusher, which is fun, and we can add a lot of the veils are meant to be very thin and delicate, just so that you can see all the accents that are on your dress. So we've been adding blushers to a lot of our veils for the brides, and they can either be attached or detachable. That way, if you want it off and just have your regular veil for the pictures, because it does add a little bit more fluff to the veil to have that second layer on it. Sure. So that's been kind of making its rounds again too. So
very cool.
Awesome.
Good to know. Very cool. So how are brides these days? We've kind of talked a lot on this podcast about, like, particularly post-COVID, people being much more intentional about what they're planning for their wedding, how they're, you know, envisioning their day. How are brides bringing in more of their own personality in their style, whether it be color or accessories? Like, what are you seeing people really looking for?
I mean, the accessories are a great way of being able to do it in a way that's changing up your look throughout the day. We'll have, like, the bride likes a really slim silhouette, but mom prefers more of a fuller dress. So we've done a lot of overskirts where you can have the big poofy skirt maybe for walking down the aisle and then remove it for pictures and dancing or whatnot. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Or like the overskirts where they come like half, kind of show both styles. You know, the black dresses have just maintained, and that's just, you know, a girl that wants to wear a black dress. That's just what she feels comfortable in, and that feels authentic to her. So people have really been leaning more towards that, where maybe in the past they would have been talked out of it. But even like when my sister-in-law was getting married and we're doing everything here, my mother-in-law had wanted a pink wedding gown when she was getting married, and her mom said no. So our code word to each other was pink gown whenever like mom was trying to step in and do things. So, you know, we were able to mitigate it, and in the long run everyone was thrilled with the look. But, you know, sometimes you gotta do those navigations.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, when I was getting married, I had a white dress, but I really wanted a blue shoe. I really wanted a satin blue in-your-face shoe. Yeah. And I remember my mom definitely gave me a look. I mean, this is a long time ago. She's like, you can't do that. You just can't do that. And now, fast forward, people can do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's beautiful floral colored printed dresses out there that are
gorgeous.
just like stunning. You know, I just think that now people can really have whatever suits them and their personality, and it's their kind of time to shine.
Yeah, even my husband had questioned, because he's like, oh, are you wearing white for our wedding? I'm like, no, my dress is like champagne and gold and everything. He's like, so you're not wearing white? I'm like, well, you're wearing a kilt. You're not wearing underwear on our wedding day. Like, what about this is going to be traditional? Like, we're doing our things. We're doing what we want. So,
I like that.
That's the best part about a wedding. You can do whatever you want.
You can.
You can wear whatever you want.
It is your day to do whatever you want.
Exactly.
And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
No. Seriously. We're telling you can do what you want.
Right? 1,000%.
Just so you know, our stylists are Team Bride all the way.
Yeah.
If you need help with your group, they will stand up for you. Like, I know it's tough. People come in and everyone has different dynamics.
Right.
So some people it's tough to speak up for themselves. Like, no, we've got you.
Yeah.
We will be in your court.
Good,
100%.
that's helpful.
I love that. So are there any kind of like popular customizations that brides are coming in, whether it be, we talked a little bit about the overskirt, but like sleeves or shortening, lengthening, like what are people kind of asking for?
I think sleeves are always something that people are really interested in, and it's really something that you have to try on. Not every, my blazer, I've got room in it to move, but in a wedding gown, this is going to be a little bit more fitted, and they aren't really made of stretch fabric. So some people love the idea of it, and like I said, we've got our separate accessories where you can add a sleeve to any dress, and then sometimes it kind of gives them the permission. Okay, maybe the sleeve isn't exactly what I want.
Yeah.
But it allows them to really play with it a little bit more. Also, we've actually been seeing more requests for T-length again. We do have a collection of T-length dresses,
Okay.
but we actually have been a little bit more intentional. We have a style that's going to be coming in that, like, the way the lace ends, it's like right around the knee. I'm like, if someone just wanted to go and make that T-length, that would be a fantastic dress.
Yeah.
So again, we're trying to bring in things that we feel like could scratch a lot of itches and be able to, okay, we can just shift this here or shift this here and have some really good pieces that through either an alteration or an accessory can become anything.
I feel like there's an increase in the number of people who are eloping, you
Yeah.
know, and those T-length dresses, they just fit so perfectly with that. Like you want to feel special and you want to feel like you have a wedding dress, but if you're not doing the entire ceremony, it's a nice kind of middle ground.
Yeah.
So very cool.
So I know we touched on the Oscars and celebrities and trends for 2025, but are like social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok and Pinterest shaping how brides choose their gown?
I think it's definitely shaping them when they're coming in. We all kind of know what the trends are, and I feel like a lot of us, that's what we like to focus on social media because that's what's exciting and what's new and what's popular. But I think that also brides, when they're on there, they're kind of seeing some of the similar things over and over again from all different shops from, nationwide. So when they come in, they think that there's like this box that they're looking in, and then we're like, no, look at all these options. These are all of your options. So we like really working with brides to have an open mind so that we can help them navigate, because they might think that they only have this to look at, and then when they come in, it's like this, which can also be very overwhelming. So that's why our stylists work really hand in hand with them to, okay, we're not salespeople, we're detectives. We're like, okay, we're taking all these things. This is all the things you want. This is how you want to feel on your wedding day. And you think that this is what you need to feel that way, but we want to show you, you can feel this way with this. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, we get to play dress up with our brides all the time.
I think also, like, in addition to style, I would imagine that a lot of people come in with like some general style ideas, but then also every body shape is different, and sometimes you think you would look best in one type and you wouldn't even try on something else, like maybe a strapless or maybe a higher neckline or something. You try it on and you're like, oh dang,
it looks better than you thought.
I look good. Maybe this is another option, so I think coming in with an open mind and trusting the people who have done this for a long time is probably really key.
Well, the amount of people that come in and think, okay, well, you have to be a size 6 to wear a fitted wedding dress. And it's like, it is about body shape and what you want to highlight and what you maybe want to play down a little bit. But like, whether you're a 6 or a 16 or a 26 or a 36, I would recommend, a fitted dress to anyone that wants that. Because it just depends on how, you carry yourself and how you want to feel in a dress. If you want to feel, I wanted to just do a noise like the bang. And I'm like, should I? No, it's fine. Then you do it.
Yeah. It's nice that you can come and try things on and get the visual, in the mirror, and you can see those things compared to when you're looking at social media, and it's like, that could be a 2, but your body's more of a 12. It's gonna look probably a little bit different on you.
And a lot of things that we've been focusing on, because we are so size inclusive, we often have different sizes in a lot of our styles. So we've been making sure that we're modeling them like this is what it looks like on a 16, a 10, and an 18 or a 20, and just showing people what different body shapes can look like in the same dress.
Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know Upstate Indie Wedding had a fashion show. So what role does like Bridal Fashion Week and runway shows and bridal shows predict with upcoming trends?
I think it does really set the tone for a lot of things. We get really excited for seeing all the new stuff to come out. And again, sometimes it might not come out as quickly, so the accessories really help. Pearls have been huge coming off the runway. And it's like, okay, you know, we have dresses with pearls on them, but to open options, we have like little drapey pieces and like capes and like all these fun pieces to really bring it together for our customers. But it dictates a lot of the trends. So, and it's a preview to what we have coming. A lot of our designers work. Actually, I think New York is probably one of the last runway shows. So the general public is seeing it then, where we're going to like Chicago or Atlanta, and we're getting to see some of these ahead of time and ordering them. So it's kind of like, okay, once it gets to New York, then you'll start to see all these images start to flood social media and then come into the stores.
Awesome.
I think also people, they see something on the runway, or they see something at a fashion show or in social media, and it's usually kind of the exaggerated version of it. But what's cool is that you guys have so many accessories that you can use to give a feeling or a nod to that trend without going, you know, full pearl gown. You know, you can just accessorize it and make it that feeling without
make it their own.
A full pearl gown is very heavy.
Like,
I can't even imagine.
Thank you.
We can go look at one too when we're done. But it's, you know, it's very pretty looking, but it definitely, if you're more of a comfort person, then let's work with the pieces to get that feel to address that a little lighter.
And logistics, how do you sit in that thing? You know, like
Not
that's a
comfortably.
lot going on, you know? No,
I like to be comfortable.
No, thank you.
I'm not a sitter. I wear high heels on my day off. Like
Yes.
I would be fine. Like I am fine with like corsetry, stuff like that. But not everyone is.
Yeah.
If you're not used to doing that, don't do it for your wedding day.
No.
That's a long day to be out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and uncomfortable on a day that you want to have the best time
Right.
ever, you know? Let's talk about the like experience itself. So obviously this is a multi-generational business. You guys have seen just the wedding dress experience change from what it was in the beginning to what it is now. How have you seen it kind of progress?
It's definitely it is more of an experience now. Like back in the day, you came with maybe just mom, maybe your maid of honor, and it was a much more smaller, intimate experience. We do find that brides now want to have more of like the party feeling. So, you know, we built our bigger space to be able to accommodate more guests. Again, that comes with more voices. So, you know, we only have so much room that we can safely put people in here, but it's like, you know, you want your voice to be the loudest. So we try and work with our brides we have reveal appointments now where, okay, I couldn't, you know, not only could I not get everyone here, but maybe someone was out of town or this and that, so they didn't want them to feel left out. So we do reveal appointments where we just set aside a time. We can do accessory appointments with the bride so that people can come in and kind of help them. Okay, you've got the dress, but we're going to really hone the look because people don't, you know, there's wearing and there's styling. Yeah. And once you style a dress with the accessories, it's a whole nother look. Yeah. It's so changing. So it's really fun to do those appointments with our brides and just making sure that we're keeping everyone
happy.
And in the loop. You know, everyone wants to feel included. But so that's been kind of like a change of just making sure that we've been able to shift things to make sure that everyone is getting the experience that they want and having the people that they need. Yeah. We also, you know, we have our ring light that we'll bring out every once in a while because it's got the nice tripod on it. So if someone's coming in virtually, we're like, okay, well, we're going to give them this space and you can put them in there. That way, you know, because usually someone's sitting there holding a person on FaceTime. It's like, well, you can put them here. They have their space and like our stylists like to talk to them like they're here too, because then they can feel more included. It's even harder to watch an appointment happen virtually. Yeah. So when we can include them and make them feel like they're actually here, that's really cool. Is nice. So we've been able to kind of bring technology into our appointments a little bit more too.
That's so cool.
That's important because technology is just everywhere nowadays. So it's nice that you can bring it in here.
How many people do you think is too many to bring with you? Is there a number, or is it more like the kind of person you're bringing?
Our space caps out at about 6 people. It adds time to the appointment because again, a lot of people are voicing things. So it's like, okay, if we have too many, because our standard appointments are usually about 90 minutes. When you bring more people, we allot 2 hours just because we know it's going to do things. But I mean, any more than that, I just feel like the bride gets lost. Yeah. And because it does get really loud in here. Yeah. Which is good. It's fun. It's a fun experience. But we want to make sure that, you know, the bride is being.
There's a mission here.
There's a mission. Yeah.
There's a mission. Let's make her happy. So we've seen a lot. I think we've seen a lot in social media and some of the other outlets about like multiple looks, right? So the ceremony look and then change into the party outfit. Are people still doing that? Is that something that's really popular, or is that really just kind of regulated to those kind of celebrity weddings that we see on TikTok?
We're still seeing quite a few. We've housed more reception dresses now than we have in the past. We've actually been offering, if you buy your first dress with us, your reception dress is 15% off.
Oh, nice.
So we've been trying to give back to the bride so that it can be at least a little more economical. Because maybe she wants to do that all beaded dress, but she just knows that she doesn't have it in her to wear it all day, and she wants to party. That's totally valid. So we've been doing that a little bit more, and I think some of the styles are so versatile with the overskirts with the detachable sleeves that even just in your one look itself, you can kind of change it up a little bit. We have a dress that it's a short dress, but there's its own overskirt on it, so you can take it off, and so it comes as a set, and but you still get 2 looks out of it, so it's really nice.
2-for-1 situation.
I've seen one really where they had. The bride had, the skirt, the overlay skirt for the ceremony, and then for the reception, she must have taken it off. I just saw photos, and she had like pants on, like sheer pants. It was just different. It was so cool. It was so her too. Like it was just like, I'm not surprised that she's in that. I've just never seen that kind of trend. It was really cool.
And we have our separates collection that we can do some of that with too. But even just the overskirts and the accessories,
I know, just taking them off and creating a whole new look.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
it's so
I love
fun.
it.
And sometimes we work with the brides trying to incorporate, like, can we actually do this like publicly, like right before a first dance, like whoosh, here's the skirt, and just try and I love adding the theatrics into it.
Yeah. That's so cool. With so many choices and so many options, like what advice would you give someone who's about to start this journey as to where to start without getting too overwhelmed?
Trends are fun and you can see them everywhere, but you really want to, look locally to your shops and see. All of us kind of have our own feel. You might have the more couture shop, you might have your more boho shop. Just really get a feel, because sometimes we touch on boho, but we're not the boho store, because we carry sizes 0 through 500 or through 40 and 500 styles. Like we have to touch on those, but we can't be like in depth with everything. So we touch on a lot of the trends. So we are like your go-to store to really see everything. And we have hundreds of 5-star reviews. So I know we get we're the first stop for a lot of people, for a lot of reasons. And I wish I could go into all of it. I would probably make this podcast.
We'll check the other episode where we touch on just a few of them.
But really, get the feel for where you're shopping. Because if you're looking for a clean and classic silhouette, the store that does all lace isn't going to have that much. We try and make sure we're carrying a lot of clean and classic, and then we're trying to carry a lot of lace. We're trying to do a little bit of everything in that. But some places really hone in. So shop where fits your, if you're a couture girl, go to the couture store. But also, feel comfortable with their nature. Go to their social media and see. We like to display our stylist personalities on there. A lot of people come in and just say, Molly, you got, my friend had you, or you got all these 5-star reviews, or Angela, I see you on the Instagram page all the time. I want to work with you. I feel like I mesh with your personality. So just really getting to know us as people versus just a store can help. Our website is an extension of our showroom. Even when our brides book appointments, we have an online lookbook, so they can go through and kind of pre-check dresses that they are interested in, especially if you haven't shopped before. It's you don't always know. So it's okay, we can get a feel, read the temperature of what your style is, and then kind of explore that a little more, or we know, okay, dialed in, this is her style, and go from there. So all the steps kind of help take them to really, once they walk in the door, they should feel like they know us already.
Yeah, I like that. I like that you put everything on your social media, and people probably feel like they know your stylist just from those kind of personality posts. So that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think just keeping an open mind, because for a lot of people, this is their first time trying on wedding dresses. They don't know what they don't know. They don't know what's going to fit them the best or, showcase their body in the way that they want it to. So I think just trusting the people who have done it a million times.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. You'll get there. Be open. Be vocal. If something really is uncomfortable or you don't like it, like vocalize that. And just keep trying.
It does not hurt the stylist's feelings.
Yeah.
At all if you don't like something. We're here to help you. So, voice it.
Yes.
Voice it.
And voice against the people that you bring with you, too.
Yeah.
If you are not comfortable, don't feel like just because Aunt Sue, poor Aunt Sue, I feel
like
I pick on Aunt Sue every single episode.
Aunt Sue has a big mouth.
She talks way too much. But she's not the one wearing the dress.
Right.
You're the one wearing the dress. You're the one in the photos in
it's
20
your
years
day.
Seeing yourself in that dress. Make sure that it's something that you are comfortable in.
Yeah, for sure. I know when I redid my mom's wedding dress. I had it redesigned. She got married almost 40 years ago. And she pulled out her dress. I'm her only daughter, and it was not yellow at all. She got it preserved, and we didn't have to whiten it at all. It was amazing. But I was really unsure that I wanted to go down that route because I was really afraid that, after doing all this work of reconstructing the dress, what if I hate it?
That is a lot of pressure.
I was scared. But Allie was great because I had multiple appointments and I kept telling her what I liked, what I didn't like. But initially, I didn't know what kind of style dress I even wanted her to reconstruct. So I went to a few bridal shops and I tried on just different styles to kind of get the feel of the style that I wanted reconstructed.
That's a good idea. So fun. There's so many options out there. It's just
and I just went with my mom. I didn't need a ton of opinions at that point because I had to figure out what style suited me best.
Absolutely.
So fun.
I love it.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
And it's okay. 'Cause some people think, oh my gosh, this is the dress I'm gonna, get married in. They come in and it's tough when the dress doesn't live up to your expectations. And then, sometimes you need a moment to reset and just kind of be like, okay, where do I go from here?
Right.
So, the stylists are just kind of in tune to that and like, okay, well, let's explore this. If you've tried on 100 trumpet dresses and you haven't found one that you've liked, maybe you're really a ball gown girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't know until you try.
Is there a number of dresses that a person, like once they hit this number, maybe they should move on to? Like, is there a boundary there?
I know. I think there's a movie where she has tried on 100 dresses.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke a little bit earlier about it's kind of like buying a house. Like, is there a number of houses that you should?
I think
see
it's
before?
very personal because there's girls or any bride that comes in, and they're just like, I'm not a shopper.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, then we will just
sure
minimize and we'll really listen to hone in on what you want right away and go. And some people really want to try on all of it. So it's so personal.
Sure.
And it's everyone's journey is a little bit different. We have a lot of girls that buy on the first time. Sometimes they will go to other shops and then come back. Sometimes it takes 6 months and we hear from them again. Some people really feel the need to see everything, or even if you just get overwhelmed, if you've got the time to just kind of put a pause on it and then come back to dress shopping later, that's okay.
Yeah.
I know. It's, we do the dress. So, of course, the dress is going to be important to us. But we obviously recognize that is not the main component to everyone. It's like, okay, if you need to rest and reset, do that. Come back with a fresh palette.
Love it.
I wish I came here to try on dresses. It just seemed like you're just so helpful, in helping the bride figure out what they want, not what other people want. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's important.
We spoke earlier, but I brought my friend here when she was getting married for the second time, and a lot of other places did not listen to what she was saying, and she felt very put in the dress that they thought she should have versus the dresses that she wanted. And she walked out of here with a beautiful dress, and she looked phenomenal and felt phenomenal too, which was incredible. Moving along to the future of fashion, do you have any trends that you think are going to either kind of go away or are going to get bigger kind of as we move through 2025 and 2026 and beyond?
I definitely think our clean and classics are going to continue to be really good staples, and those are the dresses that allow the accessories to be a little bit more bold. We've got some new vowels that'll be coming in, but textures, pleating, really crazy color combinations. And so to have like that nice basic dress that you can move that to, and a lot of them are made like crepes or materials that have a little bit more stretch to them. Girls want to feel comfortable and be able to move. So those will definitely be kind of heading into the future to stay for a while. Like I said, different lengths have really been fun playing in. So like the T-lengths have been.
Do a lot of your gowns? I remember seeing a lot when I was looking for dresses have pockets, because I know a lot of brides like pockets.
Pockets are amazing.
Let's talk about pockets.
But not all of them. It has to fit the dress. Like if there's pockets.
Yeah, you have to have a fuller silhouette. And some of the designers will add pockets to dresses that I'm not sure why. It's like there's a sheer layer on top, and they put the pocket in the sheer layer. I'm like, I can see my hand in it. Yeah. So I'm not sure.
Not throwing my keys in there.
Your focus is. So definitely, it's good because. I remember I had to text my organist. She's like, "Oh, text me when you're ready to come down the aisle so I can play your." I'm like, I don't feel like I should be in charge of this.
That's why you need a wedding planner.
I did.
That's usually what I do.
I know. I got married like 16 years ago. It wasn't as
things were definitely different then.
To do it then, but pockets are. Always such a big thing. And sometimes the brides don't notice them at first, especially when it's a really full skirt. And that's why I love, because like, I don't take brides quite as much as I used to, because I do a lot of the marketing and everything, but I'll come out and Randy on the floor and I'll walk by a bride who hasn't discovered it yet. I just love walking by and going, and it has pockets. And they're like sticking their hands
It's so exciting when there's pockets.
So I can put snacks in here. That's what I would have done. So
I went to a fashion show where, as the dress was coming down the runway, she obviously knew there were pockets, and she very dramatically put her hands in those pockets, and the entire place erupted.
Oh, the models love working with that stuff.
Love a good pocket. Love a good pocket. Awesome. Well,
all right.
This has been really fun.
That kind of wraps the bridal trends up. I think we hit all the important topics.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have any other apparel wedding dress questions, feel free to leave it in the comments and we'll read it and we will address it in a future episode. We'll hope we'll talk to you again in the future about all this fun stuff.
Always happy to talk about fashion.
Awesome. Thank you
so much. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.